All day, all night, you've cried and cried. You'll be okay, you'll be fine. At Spicy with Phina, we understand all the pains.
DNA paternity tests are unraveling a lot of buried family secrets. Keeping family secret isn't as easy as it used to be, and just one DNA test could change everything, either for better or for worse. This episode teaches on real life stories of real people in this situation, while unraveling the reasons many parents, especially the men, being fathers to children that are not biologically theirs. Honestly, I don't know how we got to this point. The question is, are women becoming more promiscuous than the men? Could there be other factors that must have, contributed to the whole issue of paternity fraud? That and much more we are going to be discussing on the show today. I have two guests in the house. Before I read out today's story, because I have a very interesting story for you today. Before I read out the story, I would like us to meet our guests. And when we come back, we'll be able to look at the stories, look at the factors and every other thing. I'll be right back.
At Spicy with Phina, we understand all the pains.
Susan McNeil is a prolific writer and a classy filmmaker. She unpacks her creative skills on her attention-gripping blog, The Last Dinosaur, which sells on WordPress, Facebook, and YouTube. Susan holds great views about life and living and is excited about storytelling. Michael Okwuike is a professional copywriter, content developer, and filmmaker. He has also served as head of content and programs at Wazobia Max TV Lagos and is currently the project manager for the Wazobia Academy online training platform.
At Spicy with Phina, we understand all the pains.
Welcome back to Spicy with Phina. Like I said earlier, we have two amazing guests in the house, and the story we have for you today is a bit of a dicey one. And we actually tagged it paternity fraud because a lot has been happening of recent. But before I go ahead, I have my guests. You've just met them. And Susan, Kamos, it's good to have both of you.
Thank you.
Honestly, when I had to reach out to Kamos, I was saying, Kamos, I'm so sorry I have to bother you, but I'm so glad we're able to make it at the end.
I actually came because of that.
You can say that again.
Today I had to do it.
Well, Susan, you didn't find it hard coming, do you?
No, not at all. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much for coming. So today we have a story that revolves around paternity fraud. A lot has been happening. But before we proceed, let me just go ahead to read the story.
Okay.
The story says, the story of, this story says, I got moved into a building a month ago with my wife. She insisted we move to a new apartment and to a new area entirely to start up our lives after our wedding. We moved in, and 2 weeks later, we discovered that the next door neighbor happened to be my wife's secondary school mate. They exchanged pleasantries and all. She sometimes goes to his house to get things we don't have, just like neighbors do. Give me salt, give me Maggi, maybe. We have welcomed our first son, and the first thing everybody kept saying was the boy didn't look like me, that he looks like his mom. Well, I was fine with that until one of our other neighbors came visiting. The boy is now a year old. He just mentioned it casually that the boy looks like Femi. My neighbor, who apparently is my wife's secondary school mate.
Correct.
Like, I don't get. But this neighbor that actually came visiting must be an aproko.
I know.
Like, let me finish. Now, that reminds me of the day I came back from a journey and I didn't see my wife at home. So when she came, she said she actually went to watch movies in our neighbor's house since she was bored. Shortly after that, she got pregnant. Now everything is dawning on me as I'm suspecting that Femi could be the real father of my son. The boy does nothing like me or even his mother. So he's in a state of confusion. And at this point, he's not very certain. He's just saying. And since there's a trigger from the neighbor that came visiting.
Yes.
See that down.
He's now looking at it that, you know. So looking at why I had to pick up the story because of recent, there've been so many things about paternity fraud. You know of the banker who has 2 children for her boss. So everything is just, but before we go into the story proper, I'm looking at different things that could have, you know, lead to this paternity fraud. As much as I don't want to believe that every of them is infidelity, but I want to know from you, Kemos, what could be the causes of infidelity? Because paternity fraud, even if it's not 100% infidelity, it might not be 100% infidelity, but at least 80% or 60% of, you know, a high rate of it should be. Yeah. So what do you think could be the causes of infidelity?
Let's even rewind back to the wiring of women. With apologies to the women. Back in school, I did a research and I did a publication. Now, a lady comes across a good student that is always, you know, the best in class, brilliant, she likes him. She comes across the student who plays in the school's team, football, and is popular in the campus, she likes him. She comes across the one from rich parents that comes to school with a convertible, she likes him. She comes across the one that is talented, that plays keyboard in church, in the school fellowship, and he's always on the altar worshiping. Great. She likes him. You don't reach 4. So now, most of the time, they want to be identified with all of them. She also has the one that gives her money. That is why you see a lady that would have a boyfriend she loves and still that doesn't have money and still keeps the one that she collects money from. It happens a lot. The reason I'm saying this is this. You are married. Of course, you cannot have it all. You can't have it all. You are married to a guy for certain reasons. And trust me, we are selfish in nature. You are going into a lot of these relationships because of what you're getting out of it. For some people, it is that financial security. They may not necessarily like the guy.
So, for me, I think if you want to get into such, and you have your reasons why you're marrying this person, you should ensure that the likes or the qualities, the advantages is more than the disadvantages. And you should also ensure that the disadvantages are things you can absorb or things you can manage.
That's the thing. Not everybody wants to get. That's the greed. They already have that guy. Haven't you heard of not just the ladies now, including the guys?
About to say so.
Yeah.
Your point, men do the exact same thing. They date different girls for different things.
These days now, we're beginning to have men who would marry the lady who is very rich and get some money out of her. Yes. Some people marry now just so that they can travel out. There's a story of one Yahoo girl that was talking to a client, the Yahoo boy's client. From there, the Oyibo called Nigeria, married the girl.
Are you serious?
The girl don't leave the boy that follow Oyibo go back. Smart girl. So we are selfish. We are like that. We're selfish in nature. So, but then it takes an extra discipline, the patience of Job in the Bible to get married and stay in that marriage, whatever happens. There's another lady who she's married and she likes her husband. She's very okay. Then she comes across one bad guy she used to date way back in school. What attracts her to this guy? Because of the random styles he does during sex. And when he saw this guy, she started remembering that all the stunts the guy used to pull, hang me there, harder. The next thing you know, she started looking for how to go and...
so if I'm going to get you right, you mentioned greed, you mentioned selfishness, and then I think lack of contentment. You will not just be satisfied with what you have.
That is why I remember my son trying to define integrity, and he said doing the right thing when no one is there.
Interesting.
So first of all, be true to yourself. If I am not with you and I travel, will I still come back and meet you
the way I
left you?
Susan, what do you have to say? What do you think are the causes of infidelity?
I would first of all kind of blame society a little bit.
Okay.
Because there's this disparity, especially in Africa and Nigeria, between men and women, where women are expected to be saints and these perfect creatures, and men are expected to be be men. If a man cheats, oh, it's a man cheat. If a woman, oh, she's gonna shower, let's stone her to death. So we need to realize that we're all human beings. If we're gonna, and I've said this before, like, let's take young people. We expect, oh, girls must wait till marriage, but men, oh, you can do what you like. Then we're shocked in the marriages, why it doesn't work out, why is he going out? Well, maybe he's not satisfied because she never learned, I don't know how to get there. But the point is that our society puts so much pressure on women. So when they get any release, some of them lose their minds because some of them went from their parents' house straight to their husband's house, and this is the first time they get to do anything exciting, anything. Yeah, because you wonder, why is a 40-year-old woman cheating? Well, she never had any fun in her 20s. She went to school, she married, and then, so in a way, I'm not saying it's right, but I'm not surprised.
But how I usually react to the pressure that the society puts on women is this. I had to reason it out somehow. Yes, they are putting pressure on women, but to some extent, the women just have to look at it from a kind of direction. The direction I'm talking about is this. If you look at the way men and women are created, women are always at the receiving end.
Yeah,
whether it's bad or it's good. Or it's unfortunate, but that is the fact. They are the receiving end. A man can leave this house, enter this room, pam, 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 enter the other room, pam, 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 do like 3, 4 at a stretch, comes back. There is no thermometer to check whether he did anything.
But the women, do we really have thermometer?
But
no, not really.
We don't have thermometer.
Yes, but because of that doing, let us wait till another 1 month, 1 or 2 months. Maybe one don't enter.
Many girls are clever these days with birth control. Never say that one.
that takes me to my next question, because sometimes you'll be wondering why people would prefer to go into their grave with deep and dark secrets.
Yeah, because
is it that the women they absorb things too much and they keep more secrets than the men? Because how can you be living in the same house with a man that you know is not the father of this child, and you watch him train, show the boy so much love, and every day you wake up in the morning and you are happy, you are good.
No, but you can't, because he will kill you. If he finds out, he's going to kill you. Society will kill you.
The heart of man is desperately wicked.
Both male
Wait now, I'm coming. No, there's a separate one for women.
Okay.
The heart of man is definitely wicked. At least we know that it is wicked. We know the heart of man. The heart of woman, the mind, is so deep that nobody knows what is inside. That's what the Bible says. So we don't even know. Is that one not worse? So women will keep secrets. Do you know how many secrets are existing in this Nigeria alone?
I think women have they keep more. Men can be open, like they live a freestyle kind of life. Their spirits, most of them, their spirit is this very easy. Let me just live my life anyhow.
Well, we'll say that. But
some of them, not
there are men who have secret families that their family doesn't know about, and they have secret families.
But it's not. I don't think it's as much as, or I don't think it equals to the number of women having children that does not belong to the men.
To be honest with you, to be honest, I'm a man truly. Yeah. There are a lot of, even the men whose wives have cheated on, they must have done 1 or 2 outside. Right?
Okay.
There's that.
But so because not karma, but because of the way the system is structured, the woman would do her own, and if she's not careful, she gets pregnant. Men don't get pregnant. So they can continue to do. You get? So that's how nature has disfavored the women in that aspect.
And but it doesn't mean, when it comes to cheating, it takes a man who has self-control and above all fears God, to understand that I'm supposed to do the right thing, because if you love someone dearly, you will not want to hurt that person.
The cheating
and
thing,
cheating.
Let me tell you, have you heard this popular line? Is on almost all the movies where they did cheating. I don't know what came over me.
I don't know what came over me. That's where self-control comes now. When the thing wants to hold you take,
some people say it's a mistake. And maybe you were walking past and the lady was lying down, you now mistakenly fell on her, she got pregnant. Maybe I don't know.
It's, for me,
But
I don't think there's any form of excuse.
There's no excuse. Our society excuses
when somebody
it.
tells me that devil not using me, I will blame the person for allowing the devil to use you.
Yes, now.
Why? Because how can you? There are things you're supposed to. If you don't want to eat meat, why use your teeth to cut it?
That's it.
A lady says, I cannot have anything to do with this guy. I don't like him. And then he invites you for a drink.
You go.
He said, you tell him your rent is almost due. You need to pay. He will pay. So if you don't like the guy, let him be.
I wonder.
Be on your own.
So another thing I noticed is that another unique thing to Nigeria is that money issue. Because a lot of the time, I think everybody's just broke and desperate. So it's now a kind of hustle. It's that one I won't lie. It's an epidemic of women collecting
but I don't
money.
think. See, so long as you're not handicapped, even the ones that I see some people who do not have legs, but they are shoe cobblers. They are doing something. It starts here.
Not true.
If you feel you can make it, no matter how small. But some people are so proud that
a lady gets a boyfriend and for her she has an ATM machine now.
Yeah,
it's
just
crazy,
like boys
but
have their
so.
girls have guys. So that's unfortunately that's what our society is.
I want us to look at the effect of it on these children. Now you have there's a mistake by the parents, the mom, and all that, and the children are at the receiving end. What do you have to say as regards to what could be the possible effects? Paternity fraud could have on the children.
As much as possible, I will try to protect the child. Okay. Right? Even if I am the one that is hurt. Say my better half now gets the child from somewhere and I now later get to find out. Don't forget that over the years you would have gotten so emotionally attached to these children. And it will break them more. It will break you, yes, but you can deal with it better than the child would. So it will break them more if you now break the news to them that they are not. For them to process it is a lot. It will cause them a whole lot of harm. So I will, as much as possible, protect the child. I don't have to send them.
How do you intend to do that?
I will try not to
let them know about what's going on.
It. The discussion will never be held in that house.
Okay.
I will take the lady out and with whatever family person that is going to be involved, we have that discussion, decide on what we're going to do. And it's most likely that that child will still remain with me and I'll still be the child's father. Until the child comes of age to now decide to know what to do with his life. That's
Susan, what do you
No, I agree. I remember reading
Do you think the children should be left out of
definitely,
it?
because
the man shouldn't stop showing them love.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you are their dad. Because if you've been their dad for 10 years now, then really, even if the neighbors their dad, they don't neighbors their dad.
Because it's not about the person who is the sperm donor.
Exactly. After all,
the
kids are adopted all the time.
Who matures the child.
Exactly.
That is the father. So.
Exactly. After you adopt, this child is your child. So.
So you guys are trying to say, as much as what has happened, protecting the child is very important. Like
even if he feels he can't stay in the marriage anymore, but just still be the kid's dad.
But between the man and the woman, if you were to be in that shoe, of course you're not going to be in that shoe at all because God will, it will happen. But if you were to be in that, if you were to be in that situation, would you leave your wife because of that?
It will involve a lot. I don't even know how I'm going to react at that point. But one thing I know for sure is I'll first protect the children or the child that is involved, the child in question. But that relationship with my wife will no longer be the way it used to be. A lot will change. It will take me years, I don't know how many years, to come back to myself. That is if we don't break up at the end of the day.
So, but you, Susan, would you, if you were to be the woman, would you just maybe bury your head in shame and say, let me leave this marriage because I know it will never be the same anymore. Let me just, you may probably suggest if he cannot have me back, maybe we should just go a separate way. What would you rather do?
Well, of course, it depends on why I did it in the first place.
Okay, maybe, I think, you're right.
It was maybe if he, because sometimes men have kids outside marriage and this was like some kind of weird revenge I didn't mean to.
So now revenge now,
But if I truly made a mistake, then I'll try all I can to just beg him and I'm like, I'm sorry, and just be like, try and get his trust back.
But I think she has a point. She said something like,
if the wife is as beautiful as her, I might consider.
You know, I wanted to say something. I wanted to say, what if she gives you the reason? Because definitely you will have a conversation with her, like, why did you do what you did and all that? And maybe the reason is, I'm not saying any reason is, no reason is, but if she was able to, if she's remorseful and she's like, it just happened and I didn't know how to tell you, I didn't want to hurt your feelings, you know, I think that would contribute to you deciding if you're going to have her back or if you guys will just continue to live.
And especially maybe if you've been infidel, you've cheated on her yourself like several times, so you're like, okay.
So it could be 1-1.
So
the thing is, one thing about me personally, I'm a very good listener.
Okay.
No matter how angry, no matter how bad the situation is, I will always listen.
So men should learn to at least listen.
Yes, listen.
You know, no matter how bad the situation is.
That decision you take rash. Don't also forget another flip side of the story, something that just might have happened. What if the lab people who did the test did a mistake?
That's the thing.
You understand?
That's the thing.
We have to grant
and what
as
if
much as possible the benefit of that.
Which a lot of people don't. They just get angry.
But you know, like I wanted to say, what if the babies were swapped when they were, you know, when they were born?
Yes.
You know, but at the same time, you can only look at that if the woman keep insisting that I don't know what happened. I've never met any other man. It's just been you. You know, so you as the man will be, you know, you need to sit back.
A lady has looked at me in the eye like this and lied or something.
Yeah, so
and in the course of the lie, guess what? She said, I swear to God. Inside the lie. I was shocked.
You were shocked.
I was heavily shocked.
You were shocked.
So sometimes they can tell you, I swear to God, I'm telling you the truth, it's been only you.
So looking at the factors, I think aside infidelity, you could have some errors from the hospital. With respect to them, though, I know the hospitals are doing an amazing job. But you know, that, of course. So you know, there was, you know, I talked about before camera started. I told you about I saw something on the internet where the nurse confessed that she usually swapped babies for fun way back in 1986 thereabouts. So we were like, if you were born within that time in XYZ hospital, go and check, or maybe your father is your father. You know, in such scenario, the woman is innocent now, like she didn't know such thing happened. Well, I think I would want to throw more light on the fact that men should learn, if you can, if you're within the same area with your wife and she's having a child, she's having a baby, endeavor to be there. Some men will say, no, I don't like going to the hospital. I don't want to have that BP. I don't want to feel.
I know.
Because if you're there, you'll be the first person they will call on once she gives birth.
Sure.
That way you'll be able to check it. So they shouldn't just leave everything to the women and all that. So factors, aside infidelity, there could be errors from the clinic or wherever it is. And there could be other cases where the guy knows he cannot perform.
In fact, I was going to even say that I read something somewhere that a lot of the times that's actually the reason. Like, you know, most times women get blamed if she can't get pregnant, and then no one ever considers maybe it's the man that can't get her pregnant. So there was this story I heard that when she realized it was her husband, then she went because she was about to kick out.
You know what? I think we'll continue this particular thing you're saying now. I want to elaborate on it. Okay. But we'll do that when we come back from this break. Let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back.
At Spicy with Phina, we understand all the pains.
Welcome back to Spicy with Phina, and if you're just joining us, we have there's a story about a woman and a man. You know, we're dealing on paternity fraud. You know, but Susan, you said something about men not being potent, like some men are impotent, and because the woman is at the receiving end, everybody wants you to get pregnant and they don't care about the men. Let's have you say more.
Because our culture has that when you see a family that doesn't have kids, it's always her fault, and then no one ever thinks that maybe it's actually his fault, because there is such a thing as low sperm count and all that. So I read somewhere that a lot of the times with this paternity fraud is because she's getting pressure from the guy, from the family. No, we'll kick you out, we'll replace you. Then she'll like, okay, let her just quickly get pregnant.
And sometimes I heard a gist that some of the guys, some of them might even drug the lady or maybe give her alcohol and get somebody else to sleep with them. Why? What me I feel is bad.
That's bad. You shouldn't.
If you have to, if you know you have that challenge, like you can't
be honest.
Whatever happened
talk
to
with her.
Yes,
just like honest conversation. It's pure evil to set her up like that.
Because there is such a thing as artificial insemination. Like so, even if you want to use your brother's sperm, he doesn't have to sleep with her. You go to the hospital, you do it, and
exactly.
Yes, like Bobby said. I don't accept work for Jerican. So we want to send in the fuel tank.
Yeah, I think our culture just because we're very secretive about certain things.
Also, why do you think some of these men die? Because some of the stories we've heard, the man could not take it anymore and died of heart attack or died of one thing. Or is it that men don't have the ability to absorb some of this pain?
The thing is this, there's a way men and women are wired biologically and psychologically.
Okay.
Why do you think a lot of time is the women that live longer than the men?
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Now, something bad happens. The woman cries, she sheds tears, and once she wipes her face, she goes back to business.
Tears gives relief.
You understand?
Catharsis.
But the man bottles up everything. I've lost this business. My container are going to high sea. They will lock everything up. The highest they will do is.
That's bad.
Yeah.
So they bottle everything up, and that increases blood pressure, heart attack comes, before you know, stroke. They turn to vegetables. From there, they die.
Sure.
So, me, I have a way I have trained myself to react to certain things. As I am planning the best thing I'm going to achieve, I am planning the worst.
The worst. So it won't hit you hard.
So that story of God forbid is not my portion. Yes, I agree, it's not my portion. But as I plan for that best, I plan for the worst.
Having backups.
So when the best is looking like it's going to fail, I'm looking at the worst. Alpha. We know how to do ourselves.
No, true.
So that way you don't feel that shock. You've already created an inbuilt shock absorber in your system.
Would you advise, with all that is happening now, would you advise people to go for paternity test, or do you think it will cause problems? Like the woman would think, oh, you don't trust me, Abby. But I feel those people, if you don't have anything in your, don't feel that way.
Most of these things are like chain reactions. We are seeing the result of certain things that people have failed to do before then, or failed to undo before then. For instance, why would a lady be as desperate as to stay in a marriage where the man is impotent and she cannot confront the man with that, so they find solution together? Because she believes the marriage is so important to me. I have to take the blame, I have to take the bullets and all of that. No.
It comes back to society.
That's the society, yes. But there's a way to deal with what the society puts on women. For instance, I ask my female friends, if I take your husband or your boyfriend from you, take your father from you, take your mother from you, take every person who supports you or who gives you money, what else do you have? Just your private part? No. There should be other things.
No, true.
Look at you are doing a show, you have invested a lot in this, and then if some man comes up and says rubbish to you, you can stand on your own, whether he's here or not.
Exactly.
You're doing your thing. But some ladies cannot buy the next recharge card.
That's
The
bad.
man doesn't buy it for them.
Well, why do people allow themselves
So
to
the
get to
first
that
thing
point?
is, build yourself as a lady. I told my wife, even when we were expecting our first child, I told her I'm actually interested in having a girl first.
Wow.
Yes, that's what I told her. Eventually we had a boy. I said, fine. If I had girls, I'm fine. I was actually good. If I have 3 girls, I'm fine. I know what to do already. I know how to raise them. So it's not about whether a guy is a boy or having a boyfriend is not a job.
Just picking some things from what you've just said now, it actually reminded me of what we discussed earlier as regards to men putting pressure on women to give them a certain gender of child. Now, you impregnate your wife, and she brings forth whatever it is God has given her. So, but it's disheartening to know that some men will say, I am tired of having female children. If you will not give me a male, give me a male child. Is she the one that gives children?
And
It's bad.
That's the ignorance.
And even educated people still.
And that's why that's why there could be swaps in the hospitals, because some people will go as far as paying people to get them that
male
gender
children.
they want.
Yeah, true.
It's crazy. People should learn to stop it. Like, it's not nice at all.
Yeah.
It's not nice.
But let us also warn the ladies. They too, they should be careful.
Of what?
They should be careful. How can you move into a compound and you see your ex-boyfriend or you see your ex-cosmate and whatever it is?
I remember you go and take salt and pepper.
Why can't you go and buy your own salt?
Do you understand? Anyway, we would come back. The final point of it is where we're going to talk about, try to advise the guy, because he's in the state of confusion now. He's saying, what do I do at this point? I think the child might not be mine. So before we give him the final suggestions or solution or advice, we will do that. right after this break. We'll be right back.
At Spicy with Phina, we understand all the pains.
Welcome back. It's still Spicy with Phina, and we're about to round up. Sisan and Kamos, honestly, we've actually done a lot with this topic, but I want us to finally address the story.
Okay, for the guy.
The guy is saying, I don't know if the child isn't mine, because since the neighbor triggered and said, okay, he looks like Femi, who apparently is that neighbor that knows the wife way back. What would be your final words to him? Like, what would you rather advise he do? Go do a DNA test, or just let go of these things? Or maybe probably it's just his mind playing the fast one on him or something.
The thing is, the mind is always busy. The mind is always busy. When you are sleeping, the mind is still busy dreaming. And you see pictures, see images. So if he doesn't satisfy that mind, well, it will continue being busy, feeding him with all sorts of things. And at this point in his life, anything anybody tells him about his wife will sound like the truth.
The truth.
So let him go and do the DNA test.
Okay.
And be satisfied that it's my child or it's not my child. If it's your child, glory to God. And if it's not your child, calm down. Calm down, have a discussion with your wife. And after the discussion, plan. Let the child be the priority. Whether it's your child or not, let the child be the priority. Plan with the wife. Both of you should agree on the upkeep of that child, what you're going to do. No need of sending the child away. Even if the child has a father and a father somewhere.
Okay.
Let the child still stay with you because you are the father the child knows. Okay, the child is still even little now.
So the child is just a year.
Yeah, so it's fine. If the paternal father, the original father wants to get the child at that age, is fine. The child is yet to,
really know what's going on.
Exactly.
So they can work things out. So you are suggesting, or
He
you are
should do that.
advising.
He should do the paternity test and be sure of where he stands. That way, the mind will stop overworking.
So he won't think the second child will not look like Femi again.
Because if he doesn't, any child the wife bears up to the 10th child,
he'll be seeing Femi.
He'll be seeing Femi.
But Sisan, so you are advising him to go run a DNA test?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So Sisan, do you advise him same?
I would only advise him if maybe he was already suspecting her. But if there was nothing going on, like he trusts his wife, then why open that can of worms? Like, if Femi is the problem, then get rid of Femi. This is your wife and your family, and I don't see the use of stirring the pot if I don't have to.
So are you suggesting you prefer they move out of that apartment, so Femi will be far from them?
Yeah, well, first of all, let him find out what that relationship is, because they could really just be friends. Not every male-female relationship means that you're cheating on your husband.
Okay.
So he should find that out and be sure. And then if there's nothing, just don't open.
Because the marriage is still new. Like, it's just about a year old. They just got
she's
married.
Already going to collect stuff from her ex-boyfriend's house.
Doesn't she might just be collecting
for them
stuff.
to say they go collect stuff, you should know that maybe they are not very,
Yeah.
And that's what people do.
Because
came
as
home
a woman, I
saw that the woman was there watching film.
I've had
Action or...
As a woman, I've had a male friend since I was 12, and my husband knows, and we are friends and we hang out, and nothing goes on.
Yes, but you go to his to go and collect salt and Maggi.
Well, it's not
They're
my
not
neighbor,
living together,
but when I'm in Jos, I go to his house, I'm hanging there.
Sisan, so if I get you right, you would rather prefer the guy, if he loves his wife, he should keep his marriage. Better still, move out of that location.
Yes, if he's
so
worried.
the family won't be anywhere close by.
Exactly, since it all started when they moved into the house.
Do you know that somebody wants to go and steal now, he will look like this if somebody's watching.
Okay.
If somebody wants to go and kill, they will look like this. But somebody that wants to go and do shino, if you like hold his 2 ears, like he's still going there. He will still go there. So moving out will not even solve the problem for a woman who is emotionally attached to a Femi.
Okay, that's why you are insisting they do a DNA test, so that if she's actually cheating now, he should decide now what he wants to do. If he wants to still keep, he said we will know.
Yes.
Honestly,
why would I suspect her?
Honestly, you
That's
guys
not giving her benefit of the doubt.
It's the benefit of the doubt that is making me to do DNA test now, so that I can trust her more.
You you guys have actually done justice
Oh
to
my
today's episode, because you've been able to throw more light, at least with what you have said. If you're listening and you're the writer, like Kemo said, you can run a DNA test to clear your conscience or to clear your mind, so you don't keep thinking about that. And if you feel if you know you love your wife so much and you don't want to let her go, like you value your marriage and you want to make it work regardless, that way you can decide to move from that area. You can decide to talk with your wife. Do you know when you're talking to somebody and you look them straight into the eyes, your spirit will be able to tell you if this person is, if you're not convinced, it's still your spirit telling you you're not convinced. But if you're convinced, just work things out. The marriage is still fresh, and this is just you assuming that this could be this, but it might not be true. It might not be true. So you either go for a DNA test to clear your mind, or you talk with your wife, move out from that place, just make your marriage work. I don't subscribe to even out of the country. Anyway, just try to put things in place. Just put things in place to stop or curb whatever it is you're suspecting.
Yeah.
It's really nice to have both of you. Honestly,
you.
I really appreciate you.
Love
And
you.
I have Spicy with Phina usually have something we give our guests.
Like
we appreciate.
Ferrari.
We'll get to that.
Lamborghini.
We'll get to that someday. We'll get to that someday.
Voila.
We have something for you. Let me get this here. Season. They said ladies first.
After the event.
So this is Spicy with Phina. I just hope you like it.
Much. It's so cute. Thank you.
It's for you. Then this is Kemos.
Correct.
This is for you.
Now I'll change gear when I want to sleep. Correct. Thank you so much for having us, and I'm not going to leave here without finishing my drink.
I
Thank
was even, we got engrossed and we didn't remember we had something.
Cheers.
So actually we've come to the end of today's episode of Spicy with Phina, and trust me, you are going to get very interesting stories on the show. Please don't go nowhere, and if you have stories you would like to share with us, kindly send it to spicywithphina@gmail.com, or you can call us on the numbers on the screen. You can send your WhatsApp messages to the numbers on your screen. And if you would want to appear on the show, like you want to come and share your true life story, you're welcome. Kindly give us a call on the numbers on your screen, or better still, send us an email to spicywithphina@gmail.com. Should you need any form of help, like you have challenges you're going through and you share your story with us and we want us to further take it out with you, you need a counselor, you need a psychologist, you need anything that would help you become a better you, you can always count on us to help you get these people and lead you through the process. Until I come your way again next time, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to always stay safe. Until I see you again next time, it's bye-bye.
Just let it out. All day, all night, you've cried and cried. You'll be okay. You'll be fine. At Spicy with Phina, we understand.